Hello everyone, now we're on to day 2, angle relationships. We learned about how to write an angle yesterday, and now we are going to learn what relationships are between different angles and what calculations you can do. So adjacent, they share a side. So they share one of these sides. A side is that ray. So how would I write these two angles? So I could write RST. S is the vertex, so S has to be in the middle. And then I could also write TSU. So they have ST or TS in common. They share a side. So classmate that sits next to you is adjacent to you. A linear pair forms a line together. So this one forms a straight line together. They also add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so that is again RST. And then this one is TSU, but now they form a straight line. They're also adjacent to each other because they're next to each other, but now they're a little bit more specific because they create a line. Supplementary angles also add up to 180 degrees. So these two angles form a line, okay? These also are supplementary even if they're not touching. So these are non-adjacent, but again, they still add up to 180 degrees when you add them together. Complementary angles, you are right to give a compliment to someone. That's how you have to remember it, or that's how I remember it. Complementary angles, those add up to 90 degrees. So you'll either see that box where two angles are, or you'll see that they're separate, they're non-adjacent, and they also add up to 90 degrees. Okay, so again, moving right along, and we're going to be practicing the different types and seeing them below. So again, a linear pair creates a line, supplementary adds up to 180, or a line also means it adds up to 180. Complementary is 90 degrees. You see that box. And then vertical angles. Opposite angles formed by intersecting lines. So these crisscross lines, what is opposite from each other? Well, 4 and 2 are vertical angles. And so is 1 and 3. And these are congruent to each other, which means that they equal the same. So vertical angles are equal to each other, so that is important. Perpendicular lines form 4 90-degree angles, okay? The symbol for perpendicular looks like this. So if you ever see that symbol, you're creating two lines that intersect that form 90-degree angles. So each of these corners now create 90-degree angles. I could say line P is perpendicular to line M. Okay, very cool. All right, so let's look at these relationships, and then you guys can practice with some mathematical equations on how to solve them. Okay, so these are next to each other, okay, and they form a straight line. So they can be called a linear pair. They can also be called supplementary and adjacent. So number 1 has all of the things. Okay, the next one, number 2, does this form a straight line? It doesn't look like these two create a straight line, so they are just adjacent to each other. They're next to each other. They share that side in the middle, but they do not create a line. The same with number 3. Again, they're next to each other, but they do not form a 90-degree angle or a linear pair. Compared to this one, this is a box. If that side's a box, A and B also have to form a box because 90 plus 90 is 180. Okay, so angle B and angle A are complementary angles. They complement each other. They form a 90-degree angle. Okay, all right, what do we see when we see these crisscrossies? Okay, so these are opposite from each other. They share intersecting lines. These are called vertical angles. And again, vertical angles are equal. All right, let's look at these two. Oh, doesn't look like these form a straight line together. They don't form 90 degrees, so these are adjacent. Lots of adjacent angles. Okay, and then number 7, do they form something? Yes, they do. They form a line. Okay, you can assume lines. So linear pair. You can also say supplementary. Okay, so when angles are not next to each other, you want to make sure that they are sharing 2 intersecting lines. They're sharing both lines, so they're only sharing that vertex in the middle. Okay, these are called, again, vertical angles. Okay, so practice